Want to go deeper with Lobbing Scorchers? You know, scratch under the surface, get down even dirtier than we already get? Become a YouTube member. Sometimes things just get a little too spicy, a little too weird, and a little too loose for the general public. And you know, the people to see that are YouTube members. We're talking about exclusive bonus videos, the podcast after show, exclusive written content, and little bits and pieces of information before the unwashed masses know about it. As a member, you not only get access to all of this amazing content, you get a badge next to your name and a slew of amazing emotes to use, not only in our live stream chat, but also in our comments section. And yes, we do have an emote for Jesus Ferreira, Go Snack, and Paul Rothrock. This is the best way to help keep us independent and keep us building out this crazy YouTube brand that we call Lobbing Scorchers. Hit the join button down below or hit the link in the top of our description if you're on mobile to join the ranks and become a Lobbing Scorchers YouTube member. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another episode of Lobbing Scorchers Kickoff. Again, it's like I said in the last episode, Ari's out. He's on injury reserve. We're not quite sure where he is. We're locating him now. We're arresting him and we're bringing him back to the content laboratory. But in the meantime, you get me, Noah Riffe, joined here with Niko Moreno, the legend, the Pulso Sports guy, the Sounder at Heart guy, the Lobbing Scorchers guy, and Brian Schmetzer's favorite reporter on the entire beat. We have an exciting show for you today. We're going to be breaking down the Seattle Sounders 1-0 win over the Portland Timbers. First time in 8 years. Hell yeah. We're also going to preview the Real Salt Lake clash that we've got going on. Who's going to be playing in that game? I don't know. We'll find out.
Noah's warming up.
Yeah. And we'll also check in on Obed and Reed and Christian, the boys who will be out for that game due to their international duty, because everyone knows it's country before club. I don't believe that, but some people do. And before we jump into all of this, because we have a jam-packed show, please like the video. It helps us a ton. And subscribe to the channel. Buy our hot sauce, lobbingscorchers.com/sauce. Go subscribe to Pulso Sports. Follow us on Instagram at Lobbing Scorchers. And that's enough plugging. Niko, how are you, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, Noah? I really appreciate you making the time to just sub in and get in here with us. I was contemplating last night, Sunday, and I was thinking, do I just let it be? And I know Ari told me there's going to be no kickoff this weekend. And after a derby game that the Sounders won, that it was a professional win, I thought, look, we have a duty to our fans, to our people, to provide some quality content. Because where else are they going to find it? Nowhere else. Sure, Jeremiah's going to do his thing with his boy Lickett. That's a good one. But other than that, there's nothing else in the PNW that covers this team in a professional, insightful way, man. So we had to do it. We had to make sure that we got out here so people got the content, man. So thank you, Noah. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. We instead of doing it when Ari wakes up, we chose to do it when I wake up, which is 5:00 p.m. So I've got my coffee. I'm still ready to go. It is Lobbing Scorchers kickoff. And as Pat is saying, thank you for doing this at a Hawaii friendly time, so I don't have to get up at 5 a.m. You're so welcome. That's what we're here to do is to think about our Hawaiian viewers. Let's jump into the Portland win, because yeah, we are a professional podcast here and we know how to do transitions. And our transition is 1-0 win, first win at Portland since 2017. It's been 8 years. That's all I know. And we beat them 1-0 off of a stunning Pedro de la Vega rocket into the top of the net. I thought this was, like you said, a professional win. It wasn't anything flashy. It wasn't anything that I was like, I'm probably going to forget about this game next season. I'm going to be honest with you. But it was effective and people played their roles. I don't know. What did you take away from it?
Exactly that, Noah. Look, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get out here and just tell people the importance that at times just getting a win has. And it doesn't have to be brilliant and it doesn't have to be memorable. We have plenty of those types of Sounders Timbers games. This one's not it. Like you said, you might forget about this, but right now, that was the biggest game. It was a key W, because if you need to get this team trending in the right direction, you needed to do it. You knew that next game you're going to have barely players to get on the field, especially now with the red card to Albert Rusnak. So you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with that midfield. And so it just amplifies the importance of that win. So look, first of all, I think that, as I said, going into this game, I'm proud that the Seattle Sounders were able to get a clean sheet. Look, the Timbers might not be an outstanding team. I said that they had issues with their 9, but that doesn't mean that they didn't score a lot of goals. I think they're a team that scores pretty consistently, at least a couple a game, because they have a lot of quality players, especially on the wing. They obviously got a guy like Anthony. They get goals from various positions, and that's the way they get games. And Seattle held a clean sheet. So to me, that was the number one highlight, right? This team, without by far their best defender, Yemar Gomez Andrade, with an Alex Roldan that had a boss of a game despite dealing with a knock on his hip. They were able to just control the game. There were moments that Stefan Fry, the guy that a lot of people were also criticizing, he came out big. Couple of huge saves, couple of quality, like young prime time type of Stefan Fry saves. Christian Roldan was bossing. Christian Roldan was a guy that you needed to get in this game and have that sort of performance to dominate that midfield. I thought Ferreira was great on the link-up play. I think that, we continue to see a lot from a player that has become a Swiss Army knife. You play him on the wing, you play him at the 10, sometimes you play him a little bit higher. He's great in the pressing moments. He connects well. He creates situations. So to me, he was very good in this one. I thought Albert, prior to the red card, and look, it was a red card.
It was a red card. I agree.
It was a red card.
Jeremiah was next to me in the press box, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's a yellow shirt." And I'm like, "Dude, that's a red. That's gonna get reviewed. That's a red all day. It doesn't matter about your intent. It doesn't matter that it wasn't super dangerous. What matters is you went to ground and you got the guy's ankle. 9 times out of 10, that is a red card. That's just what's gonna happen."
You missed the ball. I mean, if he gets the ball and it's not the ankle, sure, that's a good play, but it wasn't, right? It's kind of that thing where it's a great hustle play. You could see the intent was great, but when the execution isn't quite there, it goes from a great play to a bad play, and a play that's going to hurt the Sounders pretty big going into the next game, but we'll talk about that in a second. But I thought that all the big components were there. Jordan Morris heard all the criticism. Look, the guy didn't get a lot of services. If you put Jordan Morris in the situations that Danny Musovski got set in the second half, he puts those away.
Yes.
He puts those away. I promise you that he puts those away.
Oh my God,
and this is exactly why, again, no, I appreciate you being here, because the same people that today or Saturday night were calling for Musovski's head and he's awful, get him out of town, were the same people that were saying, I don't give a, we're starting Jordan Morris. Let's start Danny Musovski. He's the GOAT. He is Lewandowski of the PNW. And the guy has a bad game, and now you're criticizing him. I mean, come on now. That is just be even with your stakes. That's all I ask, right? So for me, Jeremiah and I had said it. Look, Moose can go out here and have a hat trick. And at the end of the day, if you ask me who do you want leading this team up top, I'm going to tell you it's Jomo. He's just the better, more complete striker. He's the guy that you're going to want in the playoffs, regardless of. So to all those people, look, that's Danny Musovski. He's overperformed. He's been good, and he's a poacher. And credit to the guy for doing what he did throughout this hot streak. But at the end of the day, that's him. Look, that pass that he doesn't put to Paul Rothrock, man, that's a huge miss. And I get that he's trying to maybe continue that heat streak, and he's a little selfish, but he's too selfish. Paul Rothrock was in the top of the 18, doing this right here. Like, come on, man, just dump it. And he takes a bad touch, loses the ball. There's not even a half chance created. Not to mention the last one-on-one he had on goal takes way too long, allows the defender to get the ball. So those are the things that I think for me were important. The key players had good professional games. I thought that there was a lot of positives of it. Danny Musovski, he did not perform and he didn't execute those moments, but the chances were created. The volume of play is still there. And all the Sounders needed to do was, one, get the 3 points, two, have a decent performance, three, play 90 minutes, and they played 90-ish minutes. I think, there were maybe 5-6 minutes in between that they lost their head. Maybe there was an easy giveaway there by Jackson Reagan. We've talked about the missed opportunities, but I thought Seattle played as complete as they've had over this last 3 or 4 games. They've not been able to get results. So to me, that's a step in the right direction. And it's one that they're going to have to build on when they face RSL.
Yeah, I think I want to touch back quickly to the Moose and Jordan comparison, because that was something that I said after the game. I was like, if Jordan Morris gets those opportunities in that space, I promise you, I've said 9 times out of 10 twice already today. 9 times out of 10, he's putting that in the back of the net. He is a lethal striker. He's good at that. He's good at getting in those same positions as well that Moose is. And yeah, like you've said, Moose did everything and more that he could have possibly been asked to do this season already. And it's Jordan's spot. It's Jordan's time. Moose is the backup. And Moose is also on a contract that they're potentially going to have to take his option up next year, which I would assume is not a cheap option because he's already not on a cheap contract. So I want to ask you, maybe you have any insight to what they're thinking about doing. But for me, like seeing a performance like that and knowing that you have a player like De Rosario in the pipeline, ready to go and kind of be that backup. What do we do with Danny Musovski?
Yeah, it's a conundrum because look, the option's not very high. I mean, he doesn't get a raise out of the club option. The club option is just another year. That's why it is the decision of the club to make that and exercise that option. If I go by what I've heard from Craig Weibel, which is, and I asked him this, look, is there going to be a lot of turnover next year? He said, if there is, it's going to come out of transfers. It's going to come out of deals with other clubs. So if I had to guess today, based on that, and give you an educated guess, I would tell you that they probably pick up that option and they try to deal him over the offseason. I think that there's a lot of teams in MLS that would pick that up for X amount of GAM. And, they're going to be able to add on to that. The importance of GAM. This club has done wonderful things with it. They understand the importance of those Garber bucks. And to me, that's probably what's going to happen. Is he someone that the club is planning on being a feature or a contributor next year? I don't think so. Like you said, you got the Rosario. There is an absolute need and a plan to bring in a U22 striker. So that's going to add on to that equation. And therefore, I think that Musovski, if this option gets picked up, as I think it will, is going to be exclusively to get something out of him rather than letting him walk for free.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's the right move, regardless of what's going to happen. You can deal him whatever way you can. It's low risk, high reward if you can turn that over. Let's talk a little bit about your favorite player in the entire world, Pedro de la Vega.
Oh yeah,
what a kid! What a performance tonight. Obviously, he's still not playing 90 minutes. Will he ever play 90 minutes? Only God knows, and his knees and the tendonitis in his knees. Those are the only two people that are ever going to know. But I mean, let's talk about his performance. I was very skeptical, probably up and continuing until Leagues Cup, about his quality and about what not about his quality necessarily, but what he would actually have to give week in and week out. And to me, you're playing Portland. You're gonna want to throw everything at them that you physically have. And man, like even only playing, did he play 60 or 45? I can't remember when he came off,
60.
but yeah, he played 60. Even playing 60, man, it's so. I would rather have him playing 60 minutes for the rest of his career in Seattle than not being here, because what he was able to do in that 60 minutes and just, create opportunities, cause chaos, do what he could, and then rip that shot into the back of the net, man. I mean, as emphatic of a goal as you can score, he continues to put those bangers up. I don't know. Listen, I'm wrong all the time, and this one I was wrong about, but this game specifically, like, I want to know what your De La Vega takes were.
I thought De La Vega was as advertised lately, or as he had left off in. My biggest question and my concern over a significant amount of inactivity over the last couple of weeks was that he was going to cool off, was that he was unable to keep up with what he had left off on the pitch after the Club World Cup and through the Leagues Cup specifically, and therefore I knew that he needed to start, and I was very pleased. Look, it wasn't just a goal. I thought that his movement was outstanding. I thought that his defending was great. His constant desire to just be a ball magnet creates a lot of overloads for this team. There is always a need for this Sounders team for a guy that, you know how they say that key star players want the ball at their feet? Well, that's what he wants. He wants to have the ball at his feet. And I thought he did it very well, right? He, throughout his 65 minutes exactly, I just looked it up before Georgie came onto the field, he was as influential as he's been. And he is the one and only guy that in this specific system can, by himself, give this team the width and the dangerousness that they don't have usually. And look, Georgia Menungo is a phenomenal player, and he is difficult to defend. And he puts a great ball into Musovski that unfortunately gets defended very well by Kamal Miller. But the difference between Menungo and De La Vega is just the pedigree. It's just the level of talent and finished product that is Pedro De La Vega, right? So people could call that goal he had a tap-in, and I would disagree. I think that the read on the play, I think Paul Rothrock does a great job by also pushing to the other side and just keeping up that space.
And that's what Paul Rothrock is good at, by the way. And that's something that we both, I think, when he was initially breaking out, we were sitting in the press box nerding out about, because them playing together, it does bring you that. It brings you that.
Absolutely. The Havoc brothers, man. I absolutely love when they play together. I thought Ferreira as well. He almost, if you really slow down that play, he kind of feints like he's going to shoot, and he like speeds up, but he knows the whole time he's going to pass it down to Alex Roldan. Just the entirety of the play is what the Sounders have done when they look elite. And all of it needs a Pedro De La Vega on the field. So that's what he does. You saw me maybe go, I don't know, what is it called? Pop girl crazy or whatever. Where I went off on my tweet. I fangirled on the goal. I admit it. And that's just what he does, man. And it's just, he is a guy that, for those who do not understand that not every team in the planet needs a phenomenal striker to be a good attacking team. They need quality wingers. They need wingers that are goal scorers. They need cams that are goal scorers. They need to bring in those goals from other places. And that's what the Sounders are able to do when Pedro's on the field. And that's why I was so excited. And if you can continue to have him play, oh Lord, let that knee be fixed, I think you're going to be okay in the playoffs. And I think that you're going to be able to make a run. But you need that guy on the field.
Who is the patron saint of joints and of knees and ankles? I think we need to start getting some prayer candles, lighten those up, put them outside of Providence, Long Acres, healthcare, FC training facility. Start putting those outside of Lumen Field. We got to figure this out, chat. You're gonna have to look up and see who the patron saint of all that is, and we can start figuring that out. But let's talk about another Jesus.
I'm feeling a little lag here, and I think I just realized why. So I'm gonna add on my Wi-Fi that apparently I did not have on. If it kicks me out, you let me know. But I totally screwed that up.
You're good.
I just realized that I'm over here running.
Tech issues, man. He's back on. Listen, chat. If we don't have tech issues, it's not Lobbing Scorchers. We'll kick Niko off until he's back. Oh, here we go. Okay, there we are.
There we go.
Better. Fixed.
My bad, man. I literally just realized I was over here running SD.
Listen, are we surprised? It's Lobbing Scorchers. If there's not a tech debacle in the middle of it, then we're not doing something right. Yes, it turns out Ari wasn't the problem. You're right, chat. It's all of us. We're all the problem. From our prayer candles to Jesus himself, Jesus Ferreira, I want to talk about this tactical wrinkle. Albert Rusnak at the 8, Jesus Ferreira at the 10. It's not something that I expected necessarily to see when the two of them were playing, but I love Jesus Ferreira at the 10. That is my dream. I love Albert Rusnak as well. I think he's an incredibly talented player. I just really like Jesus Ferreira at the 10. That's just me. I thought that this was kind of played out really well because Albert was able to get involved farther down the field and build up attacking play in just a different, more interesting way. I think that obviously you sacrifice what Obed Vargas brings in the defense. Albert Rusnak is not a bruiser 8. He's not a guy who's going to win every ball. He's not a guy who's going to intercept every pass. That's just the truth. But I didn't mind this, and I wanted to hear how you thought it went, and if Jesus kind of maybe gave Albert a run for his money. Obviously, Albert will not be playing in this next game, but yeah.
I think what I like most about this is that you get the best possible placeholder for Obed Vargas. I'm not so worried about the 10 position. I think that both Albert and Ferreira run it great. And credit to Ferreira for his versatility, his soccer IQ. But I also have to credit Albert Rusnak for his unselfishness. He doesn't have to do that. The best paid player on the team, call him the franchise player, whatever you want. The guy who was your highest goal contributor last season, telling us, look, if I need to play a line back, I'm going to do it because it's for the team. That is outstanding. That is what I wanted of a guy. And for all the grief that we've given him over the years about him not defending and not being that guy, even Brian throws shade at him sometimes for not defending.
Reese in chat, he loves to do that. I see him doing it right now. They love to call him lazy, the Brigaders.
Yeah. And look, we've all done it, but this year, I really do feel like he likes to act like he doesn't listen, he doesn't hear the noise, and he doesn't watch soccer. He don't even play FIFA. I mean, the guy is just like, I don't really mess with it. But I don't know if you saw that. You saw that video. I just
want to go race horses.
Yeah, he wants to do his own thing. He has the high performance cars, and he's a swaggy European dude. But I don't know if you saw the video that the Sounders put up when they revealed his FIFA card, and he felt like he got snubbed at the defensive end. And he's like, "This is bullshit. Like I'm better than this. I'm better than that." And I really do think that his persona.
Here, you can prove it, buddy. Play the 8.
Exactly. And maybe that's why he's like, you know what? Let me play the back. Let me play the 8, man. I got you. I'm gonna show everybody that this ain't me. So all of it works out. So to your question, I think Ferreira does great at the 10. But what I love about it more is that you have an actual replacement for Obed Vargas. I really think that if everybody's healthy, I want Ferreira to just play in the wing and be able to tuck inside and be able to play with Albert Rusnak closer to the 18. That is ideally what you want out of this group. But in the case that you're missing Obed, let's say for another game, because they play Chile on Tuesday, tomorrow, if they make it through, he's going to be gone for quite longer. So if he's not going to be able to come back, he's not going to be available. You need a guy that can do that job. And it was Albert Rusnak. Unfortunately, now you have to go figure something else out again because of the red card. But to me, it's just credit to both of those guys. And I do love Ferreira at the 10, but I just love Ferreira anywhere on the field.
We're both Ferreira lovers, yeah.
I bought Ferreira stock when he was at his lowest. I was telling him, I said, give it to me. Give me that stock. I got it. Paid for it. I was broke out of it. Now, I'm living large, baby. I'm living large.
we all on the Lobbing Scorchers podcast network have just we actually put the whole business. We mortgaged the Lobbing Scorchers mansion to buy Ferreira stock. Like, we have been bought in. Clearly, it's working because I thought that match, he was outstanding. His passing, his vision, the little flick over the top balls he was playing to Paul Rothrock. I was losing my mind, Niko. I was losing my mind in the press box, looking at Jeremiah saying, do you see what I'm seeing? Do you see this man? He's not even a DP. He's not even a designated player. He is, by all accounts, owning the Portland Timbers right now. Just owning them. Like, they should Merritt Paulson should have had to give away his ownership to Jesus Ferreira. And that is frankly how I felt he played this game. But overall, I mean, I mean, you talked a little bit about his play, but just soloing in on him for a minute more, because I feel like he deserves his flowers for this match.
He deserves, especially because still today there's criticism on Jesus Ferreira, and you have the people that watch the game as if it was a FIFA game or as if it was a soccer manager app sort of situation, and all they see is stats, and all they continue to talk about is the fact that you brought him to be a striker, and he was going to be the striker. Look, you brought him to be an attacker, a versatile attacker, and that's what he's done. And he's contributed in so many facets of the game that right now are much more important than him being a striker. His contributions have allowed Musovski to have the best season of his career. The best season a striker has had for the Sounders, man. I mean, that's what it does. That's why you get a piece like that, because he's going to amplify, he's going to connect, he's going to do absolutely everything you need to get a poacher like Danny Musovski to be able to put the ball in the back of the net, baby. So you got to have this. You got to be able to know. You got to know the game. You got to be knowledgeable to really understand what Ferreira has done this season for the Sounders.
He's incredible. And I've got to say, like, people can talk shit on Craig Weibel all day, all night. People will, and that's fine. That's part of his job description, is to be a little bit of a punching bag.
Sure.
But if he brought him in to be a striker and that didn't work out, and they said, you know what, that's okay, we still know this player has quality, is that not the same thing? It's about the process. It's about the process. It's about the outcome. Where you started doesn't necessarily mean you have to end up there. Sometimes you get a diamond in the rough that you think you know what it's going to look like when it's polished. And when it's polished, it's something different. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's a different look than you would expect. And it's played out so much better that way. Like, I think that in a way, Jesus Ferreira not being the 9, not being the striker, has played out so much better and been so much more helpful and crucial in them winning. They don't win Leagues Cup without him. No way. They don't. No, win. They don't. They're not in this position without him, and that's just the truth. I am a believer. I'm a lover. Jesus, I've always believed in you, though. I was at his debut when he scored in Dallas.
Hey man, and look, I also got
then.
There you go. See that me and you, we live in large on this Jesus Ferreira money, man. But
exactly.
I also want to credit, allegedly as Brian Smetzer's favorite reporter, I do got to give him credit to the fact that he's held his locker room together, that he has outlived the injuries throughout the season to so many players that he has. Because for better or for worse, Brian Smetzer is going to see things his way. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes he takes him a little longer to play Pedro on the left. Sometimes it takes him longer to do certain things. But for a case like Ferreira, he always knew that he wanted him up there, whether it was with Jordan, whether it was out on the wing, whether we didn't understand it at the time. He knew exactly what he wanted out of this group of players, and he's done it very well, man. And I've said it all season since I finally got to see the playbook and what ultimately Brian Smetzer had put together right in front of our eyes. This is his best coaching job in maybe his whole time with the Sounders. Maybe since the first year when he was an interim head coach and he put that team together with Nicolas Sodero. But this one, he just had so many more snags. He had so many more things that he had to move around that, to me, I mean, Brian has really outdid himself putting together the best pressing Sounder team that I've seen. Clearly the one of the best attacking movement when it comes to the movement of the team in the Sounders play, and I think statistically too, if I'm not mistaken, the best Sounders team. So he just been great this season, and you got to give him credit for Ferreira's success. Obviously, what he's been able to do, and there's been moments where maybe the team hasn't executed, but I think that he's pressed the right buttons, specifically in this last run through Leagues Cup.
Yeah, no, I have for a long time been a Brian Smetzer praiser, but I do agree. I think this season he was given a lot of the thing with getting that many players and having that many ways to do things, it can lead to a lot of outcomes that are bad as well as good. And I think his ability to, like you said, craft a narrative that has kept the locker room together, where you had guys who effectively were just coming in to play and just wanted to play, fighting for minutes every single game, and are still fighting for minutes. It's October. And there's guys who were debating, like, should Georgie get a start? Like, Pedro, like, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's a difficult thing to manage. He is a man manager. I think every single person would agree. He is not a master tactician. But even under that, he was able to go to the Club World Cup, see what worked well for the teams that they played against, and then say, yoink, I'm taking that. I'm going to implement that. I'm going to do that, and did it effectively. And that's incredible. And so shout out to Brian. Shout out to Brian. And thank you for listening to the podcast, by the way. And thank you for the shout out at the end of the press conference, Brian.
I heard that.
That was great. He loves to do a little trolling here and there, as you know.
He does.
He loves to do that.
I wish he praised me like that, but he hates me. But it's all right. We got a love-hate relationship. It's all right.
He's like, oh, have Noah calculate up the numbers. Have Noah figure out the statistics. I'm like, brother, that's not me. You got the wrong guy, dude. You got the wrong guy. But looking ahead, let's look ahead. I want to jump into this RSL game. Honestly, like, I don't want to look ahead to it because it is a little scary to me, Niko. It's a little scary. We've got a lot of absences. We've got some injuries. We've got some weirdness that's probably going to go down. But just to start, I kind of wanted to toss it to you. If you could break down for us, if we can, I didn't write them down, so this is why I'm deferring to you, but who we're going to be missing, what potentially things could look like for a starting 11. Obviously, Albert's suspended. Gaymar and Kim, we'll figure out more about their health tomorrow. And Obed, Reed, and is Snyder gone too? I don't know.
Brunell's gone.
And yeah,
he's going to go with the U19s. Yeah, so Yemer Gomez Andrade out 4 weeks, absolutely out. Obviously, Albert Rusnak with the red card. Obed Vargas and Reed Baker-White would not be there. Christian Roldan is gone, national duty. Snyder, U19, national duty as well. And I believe that's it. So the problem there, it's the midfield. The midfield is decimated. There is obviously Nuhu as well will be gone. Nuhu. He's another player that's going to be gone. So that's another huge question mark there because I
Reed's
don't
gone.
know.
So.
I don't know who you add there, right? Because um, Cody Baker, he's out on loan, so you don't have that guy anymore. So you're going to have to mix shift something there. But it's going to be a situation where you're going to have a lot of guys out. Kim came out with some cramping or some tightness. So we'll see that can go either way. Jay Bell played well. I'd
he
have to
did.
say. I think athletically he provides a little bit of that. Yemer Gomez Andrade maybe not as strong, but he does have that recovery speed. Sometimes he gets a little too comfortable on the ball for me, but other than that, I thought that he's fine. But yeah, that's a lot of guys. That's 7 players ultimately that you're not going to have available for this game. And therefore it makes it difficult. But the real question mark is the midfield, because aside from Danny Leyva, that's all you have really.
Yeah, you have JP.
Yeah, JP, of course.
Can I be honest? I don't want to see that man start. I want to see that man play 15 minutes and close out a game. I love João Paulo. I think he is a bad man, and an incredible soccer player. But I think in longer stretches, he would probably even tell you that that's a little bit much for, I think, where he's at fitness and health wise.
I would agree. Just out of concern for him, he hasn't started a game since May. Yeah. I mean, it's been forever since he's played. My thoughts were that JP was going to come in a little bit sooner against Portland. I guess you really couldn't because you were trying to finish that game and you wanted to make sure that you had certain guys out on the field, but you needed to give him some minutes. And now you're either going to start him and kind of throw him into the fire, trial by fire, and figure out if he can make it, or you figure something out with maybe Alex playing next to Leyva, or maybe you put Kalani there.
It's gonna be.
I mean, there's just things that you're going to have to create against RSL. Now, look, RSL is not the greatest team in the world, but they surprised me there with a 1-0 win over Colorado. They held on, to be quite honest, to that score line. But that could be a thing where you and I both know that RSL comes in here and a lot of times can be a rock in your shoe. So are they going to just play deep? Are they going to say, come break us down? We just came here to make your life a living hell. So get us, off our own goal line. So those are the things that are going to be difficult there, but that's a lot of quality players, a lot of important players, and the huge feature for Brian Spencer. This system works to the beat and the drum of your midfielders, center midfielders, your pivots. And if you don't have that necessarily ready to go, it could be a long afternoon.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. My prediction is you're going to see Alex Roldan in there. I don't know what else. Brian, I don't think trusts anyone else to be put in that position. And if we look back at when this has come up in the past, that's what we saw. Snyder, obviously, I think would have started there and played 90 and probably played great. But again, he's going to be out. And looking to the center backs, Stu Hawkins is out. He's been injured. It is super, super, super thin. And for me, this match is going to come down to, let's not have any more injuries. Let's not get any suspensions. Let's just chill out. And this game is infinitely harder because of that red card that Albert Rosnak picks up. And is frustrating. I don't want to get mad at Albert for that because I understand he's trying to make a play. But it really, it's a game where you're closing out the game, man. It's almost over. And now you've put yourself in a position where this is really, really, really difficult. Because that pivot in that midfield, like you said, it's dictating everything for this team. And now you're going to have to throw 2 players in who haven't played together in a long time or have never played that position together. So it's going to be a challenge. Something that Sam asks here, hey guys, maybe Niko mainly, Everyone knows. I'm just the funny guy around here. You're the actual reporter.
Oh,
Which
come on, man.
Defiance players are likely getting called up, considering we only have 15 eligible healthy players, 16 if Kim is okay? So I guess the question is, do we think we're going to see any Defiance players get called up? And if so, whom?
That is a great question. And to be quite frank, not only am I not the most knowledgeable guy when it comes to Tacoma Defiance, although I'm going to give you some guys that I think would be considered. I know that the hardship rule and certain mechanisms to call up guys can be more difficult than they seem. There are guys for Tacoma that are on loan that cannot play for the first team, and that's why I usually ask Brian immediately, and that's what I'm going to ask tomorrow. First question is going to be, who are the guys that you're looking at, right? You know, is it going to be a Peter Kingston? Is it going to be a guy like Seba Gomez, who we see consistently play that midfield position for the Sounders at training, right? The beautiful thing about the Tacoma Defiance guys and that next man up mentality that the team really has is that the kids practice with the first team players. They know the system, they understand what is asked of them, and so those are the situations where, whether or not guys are available, right? Like Sukanome is a guy that a lot of guys like. I don't know what his situation is and if he can be called up because of the contractual situations. But those are the guys that I think would be called up there for the midfield. When it comes to right back, when it comes to center back, I think that they're going to be fine. I think that they're going to bring in guys for that midfield specifically. So those are the guys that come to mind to me with my very basic knowledge of the Tacoma Defiance.
I think if I'm looking at, depth of like if they're just trying to toss people on the bench just in case, I'd love to see a little Leo Bernie moment. I don't know. That's just, that's just me. People are saying Peter Kingston. Sure, why not? I think you're right. It is people don't really this is famously why the Columbus Crew had an outfield player in goal for 80 minutes against the Seattle Sounders, is because you can't really just get hardship waivers. You have to sign players, and that's to protect them from really shitty contracts, basically. Like it is a good thing. But it does make it difficult in a situation like this where it is an international. They probably shouldn't be playing. They wouldn't have been playing this game. This is a rescheduled game anyway. So they get unlucky with this. And I don't know. Like that's just tough. I don't know what what they're gonna do.
But the Peter Kingston, I mean, again, without knowing exactly what the mechanisms and who you can and cannot bring up, I think Peter Kingston, as I mentioned, is a great call up because I feel like he has the physical components to play at the first time level. I think that he has
he's 24.
He's 24. He has the experience. He's a guy that could do a lot for that midfield. Has a good, bin rate shots, a good passer. But Seba Gomez is the other one. I mean, those are the two guys that in practice you see consistently playing with the team. So those are the two guys that initially come to mind to be called up.
Yeah, and Seba Gomez he's 5 goals, 5 assists in Next Pro, and which the last game just happened. He started 25 matches. Like he has 2,000. He had like 2,200 minutes this season with Next Pro. Like he's clearly around the team. He's like such a versatile player from what I've seen. Like they kind of just stick him wherever. So who knows who they're going to bring up, but stay tuned. This is why you should go and subscribe to Pulso Sports on YouTube, because you'll get to see all the pressers that happen that Niko asks about, because that's how you know.
That'd be the first question I'm going to ask tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I like your Leo Bernie call. I mean, if for some reason Kim was to really not be available, I mean, Leo is a guy that does practice with the first team, that his biggest downfall has been staying healthy. Well, I guess that's just the Sounders thing.
The Sounder.
So he just hasn't been able to stay healthy, but he is another guy that early in the year we were high on because he looked like he could play the part. Like, man, well, that guy looks good, right? But he just was never able to really get there. And Antonio Lopez is another guy that he's played in the past. He kind of felt like he was on an upcline, and then he plateaued, and then he kind of fell off. The stock fell off a little bit, but he's a guy that I hear a lot of good things about as well there at the center back position.
We will just have to wait and see, folks. We're going to have to wait and see till tomorrow, so stay tuned.
But good question, Chad. I appreciate that. Good question.
Yeah, exactly. Something that, okay, let's just be real. This is going to be a hang-on type of game. This is going to be a hang-on, ride the wave and try and get a result. Personally, I'd be very happy with a draw. I know that's not what anyone wants to hear from a home game, but like, get it done, get some people out there, get out without injuries, get ready for the playoffs. Brian won't be happy with a draw. He'll never be happy with a draw. But no. I think that is, for me, realistic expectations. So for me, I'm going to ask you this question. What do the Sounders need to do this weekend against RSL to get some kind of result, especially shorthanded?
It's a great question. Look, first of all, RSL is going to be missing some guys too. Pretty sure Luna, Ojeda, they got a couple of guys that are going to be missing. I'm sure I'm missing a couple. But the Sounders have to specifically come out and have the right tempo of play. Intensity is basically the main factor that this system needs when it comes to their pressing, when it comes to their transition moments. I think decision making is going to be key. Defensive fortitude on set pieces. RSL is a team that can definitely exploit you when it comes to set pieces. So those are the things that you're going to have to do. Have your moments, be clinical in front of goal. It's going to come up to the experienced players, Noah. And this is one of those games where Jordan Morris needs to carry a lot of the responsibility. As someone who has been in Jordan Morris's corner, wants to see him succeed, is really believes that he should be the main guy up top in this offense. I asked a lot from him against the Timbers. He didn't get the services in. He didn't have the opportunities. In this one, he might have to play 90, or he should play 90 if he's capable of doing so. And in those 90s, he has to show up for this team. He has to be the guy that puts his stamp on a big win against RSL at home when you need it. And again, it's not about the standings. It's about getting this team going in the right direction, right? A guy like Jesus Ferreira, who we've been praising, another guy that's going to have to show up, right? Because when you don't have those pieces in midfield, and maybe you don't have control of the midfield, and you don't have control of possession, those moments in front of goal become that much more important. And so it's going to be on the offense. How much can you put this RSL team under pressure? And how many goals can you put in the back of the net? Because you haven't been able to do that lately. Let's get it together and finish our chances.
No, I completely agree. It's for me, you've got to rely on your vets. You've got to rely on the people who are there to kind of lead everything. And everyone's got to defend. The Brian Schmetzer motto, everyone's got to defend. Like, to me, this is one of those games like you're playing like a 6v6 or an 8v8 rec soccer where, brother, those center backs, God only knows. So you better get your ass back. Jesus Ferreira better get his ass back. Paul Rothrock better get his ass back. Danny Leyva better get his ass back. Everyone. And just grit it out. It's going to be a gritty game. There's going to be a lot of people who are getting an opportunity to play, and they're going to want to. You got to show what you got when you got it. And so it honestly, I think this can be an interesting game to see some players. I'm really excited to watch Danny Leyva. I am excited to watch Danny Leyva. I hope he plays. I like Danny Leyva a lot. I think that he showed pretty well against Portland.
I think he did.
Aside from being a fan of him as a human being, because he's one of the greatest dudes of all time, I want him to break out so bad. I want him to have a piece of this in some kind of way. And so, Danny Leyva, you're my player to watch.
I love that. This could be a big Danny Leyva game, and one that he ultimately he deserves. Like you said, he's been so held back by the amount of competition in his position, the talent that has shown up. the system that the Sounders play in. So a game like this where he could be the main guy in that center midfield, that's huge, right? Because you said, he came and played well against Portland. I go back to the Santos game where I thought he was the best player on the field. He has probably the most gifted foot in the entire team, right next to Pedro de la Vega.
He should be
When it
taking
comes to
every free kick, brother. Every single free kick, give it to Danny Leyva.
absolutely, he can make a huge difference. Me and Jeremiah were talking about this actually. That it's almost criminal that we see him make these crazy shots in training. He has all this talent and he's yet to score a goal. And Snyder Burnell, 18 years old, walks in first game and just puts the ball in the back of the net. It's not nice, but this is a game where I'm hoping that Danny Leyva can finally score his first MLS goal.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. Here's an interesting wrinkle. So let's try this one on for size. What if you keep Jesus Ferreira on the wing so that he can play with Jordan Morris, get some more minutes together in that space, and you put Danny Leyva at the 10? Do we think Brian Schmetzer would be so bold to do that?
No, because he doesn't have anybody else at midfield. If Albert had not gotten a red, probably not either because he paid the 10. But what I'm saying is that he just has nobody to necessarily play that center midfield position. So no, I think that Danny Leyva is going to have to play the pivot right next to probably Alex Roldan. But yeah, I get what you're going at, and I see where you're going. I like it. I love Danny Leyva at the 10. The problem here is that there's just nobody to cover for him in the back end, and understanding how well Ferreira has played and how good that Pedro de la Vega, Paul Rothrock has worked. Hey, I think that's going to continue to be a thing.
No, I completely agree. One can only dream, Nico. One can only dream. One more thing.
But you know what?
Yeah.
A Georgie start might happen.
Yeah.
Because with the issues you might have without Nuhu and, no Baker, neither of the Baker White nor Cody Baker. I mean, you might have to play, I don't know, maybe a 3-man back line and put Paul Rothrock, playing there, the wing back.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Paul Rothrock defensive midfield because he played CB. he played right back. Like Paul Rothrock would be like, yeah, dude, let's do some tackles, man. Let me start beating some people up. Brian, this is free game. We know you listen, brother. Paul Rothrock at the 8.
Hold on. Actually, I thank you to the boss man, J.O. saved us there. Of course, that Georgie got called up as well. So Georgie won't be available.
Get called up, yes.
Of course, she got called up. We just talked to him about it. Everyone's gone. So it's 8. We went up to 8 players. 8 players. So thank you, J.O. Appreciate that. Yes, Georgie definitely out. So again, we're going to be going off of the limited players. Without a doubt, is going to be, in my mind, Ferreira at the 10, Pedro on the left, if hopefully available, and then on the right, Paul Rothrock, and at the top, Jordan Morris. And at midfield, you're going to have to put Danny Leyva, Alex Roldan. I really don't see anything else happening there, unless, as we mentioned, some of these Tacoma guys get an opportunity to be called up and play. So yeah, that's kind of the way I see it.
We're gonna see what grit and determination really looks like.
Yeah, I wonder if Jo can get on. Can Jo get on? That's what
I mean, if he wants to get on,
just to talk about the Tacoma Defiance, because like I said, if there's a guy that knows Tacoma Defiance and all that, is him. I feel pretty comfortable with the options that I give. I'm not gonna lie, pretty impressed with myself. But Jo is definitely the man there. So if he gets on, I'm fine with that. But look, at the end of the day, this RSL team is, like I said, they're no juggernaut. They got some players missing. They're inconsistent defensively. I think that without Ojeda, even more. I think that on the attacking end, they just don't have a killer up front. And as much as Diogo has been a very good creative player, and he can be a goal scorer, of course, there's just not that threat that maybe I would say, hey, watch out for this guy. So this is a very winnable game at the end of the day. Still, even with all those missing guys, I think Seattle can, without a doubt, at home, the understanding of the importance of this game, I wouldn't put it past them if they can get a result.
Well, listen, let the chaos continue, because here is another non-Ari member. We have Jeremiah Oshan, the famed soccer lover, the guy who will go to University of Washington soccer matches just to scout, just to determine. This guy knows every young soccer player in the state of Washington. So let's get a breakdown of the Tacoma Defiance, and also if you can kind of explain to people the hardship rules a little bit and what the Sounders might actually be able to do versus what people are expecting them to do.
Okay, so I think you guys actually covered it pretty good in terms of who's likely to be called up. Like, I think the candidates are probably Leo Burney, Tino Lopez, Sebastian Gomez, and Peter Kingston. Those, I think, are like, if it wasn't one of those, if it's not out of that group of players, I'd be surprised. With Burney, it's funny. I'm not 100% certain that he's eligible, but I did write a story earlier this year that said he was eligible for call-ups. So I assume I got it right when I wrote that story. So we'll go with my own reporting and say he's eligible. He's eligible. And they are, I think the way it works is if you're under 16 players, you can call up, you can make call-ups from the Defiance. And I think they're probably going to be at 15 unless Kim Keehee is eligible. So, yeah, that's who I think. But then who starts? I don't like. Gomez could maybe play as a winger, but he's not going to play in the middle. The problem is they don't really have a left back. They like the only left back they have on the roster is really like John Bell, I guess. But he might have to play center back. Like again, if Kim is healthy, it helps a lot. But like you said, Albert Rusnak getting hurt really does kind of fuck their shit up.
Getting a red. He didn't get hurt.
That's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah.
No, you're
getting
good.
the red.
I didn't want to spread any more misinformation, you know?
Yeah. Albert Rusnak is not hurt. He got a red. But yeah, it's a tough situation. And so the thing that's really sucky is I had been told yesterday that the Sounders had worked out a deal to keep Snyder Brunell, and that they thought that, and they basically that he was playing for the Defiance yesterday was a sign that he was staying because he was supposed to leave yesterday. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know if that was bad information or if U.S. Soccer changed their mind. But it's honestly, it's pretty dumb because U.S. Soccer is playing. So first of all, the U19s are not a World Cup age, right? So there's no. This is prepping players for the next U20 World Cup, essentially. So which is in 2 years. So wow. The U19s are in Europe, by the way. They're playing in Europe. They're playing friendlies. And US Soccer is like, no, we need Snyder Brunell. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you want him to play? I don't understand. I don't understand the point of that at all. Like, I think he's eligible for the next World Cup at least, but it doesn't make any sense to me why they felt like that was more important than playing a competitive match, league match. Then, so that kind of, that also was a big blow. Also, it would have been good to probably have Cody Baker around right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recall him? Question mark? Recall him?
Yeah, I don't know that.
You could probably end it.
They probably could. Yeah, they might be able to, and they maybe. But yeah, it's a tough situation. From what I've heard, I haven't heard Cody Baker's name mentioned, so it tells me that that's not being, because otherwise you'd think that would be near the top of the list, right?
Right.
I mean, I can understand from a respecting the player standpoint, like he's playing matches.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
true.
The whole point was to get him minutes. And if you recall him for one match and then you're immediately going into the playoffs, I mean, like,
yeah,
it's not.
And he is gonna. And the thing is that Sacramento is gonna make the playoffs, so he's gonna have a lot more. You know, he potentially has a bunch more opportunities to play in Sacramento. So it would be like, even if it's technically possible, it would be kind of a bad faith move to end the loan early just because you need him for one game.
Just because you need him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which do they need him? I don't know. Like, because if they're basically going to finish 5th no matter what, you don't have
I mean,
really any
that's a
mobility
very
other than that.
It's a fair point. The only way they don't finish 5th is if they lose out and Austin wins out, and Austin is playing LAFC, which
So good luck,
Jeremiah. But just to clarify, so at this point we do not know if Snyder will or will not play, or is he gone?
No, he's not. He's my understanding. He got called up. Like he's left. He's going to Europe to play for the U19s. I had been told that was not going to happen, and then I texted somebody today and said I thought he wasn't getting called up. They're like, well, he is.
Oh man, because I was thinking backline of 3. You go Jackson, Jay Bell, and Alex Roldan. Paul Rothrock wingback with Kalani wingback and Snyder and Danny. Thinking. That would have been great. But if you put Alex, back there and you need him in the middle, I mean, the problem is who's going to be next to Danny Leyva.
They need Alex to play like 3 positions, essentially.
Yeah. I've been saying he's the most important player on this goddamn team, and no one wants to believe me. But you know what? Here it comes again. Proven right. It
is funny. They have like they have like some real like forward depth, and they have some like kind of even some good winger depth, but like that's not where they need it right now.
Nope. Everyone's a winger, Jeremiah. Everyone is a winger. Not enough winger backs.
I did hear that Stu Hawkins has been cleared to play some minutes. Now,
let's go.
How much can he play? I don't know.
Put him in for 90. Let him cook.
Yeah.
And Stu's been lifting. That kid look.
Oh, he's big now? Big Stu?
He got big. He just looks broad. Every time I see him, he looks more like a linebacker. It's wild.
Yeah,
I suppose it's not out of the. He is I suppose it's not it wouldn't be the craziest thing if he, I don't know, maybe they can split him and someone else. I doubt he can play 9. Maybe he can. I don't know.
He's 14, bro. It's fine.
Right. Exactly. He's only a few years removed from playing back-to-back days.
Yeah, it's you're chilling.
Look, at the end of the day, you might have to just throw a JP, and just let him start and figure out how much you get out of it. So the 3-man backline stays with JP and Danny at center midfield, and you hope that JP can play as close as 90 as he can. I don't know.
Yeah, they need to put him on those Segway things that they had 2016, 2017, where you'd lean forward and go. They need to put JP's ass on one of those, because I think he'd be a lot more mobile on one of those.
So I will say RSL will be missing a few players. No, it's not anything like what the Sounders are dealing with right now, but they are missing Xavier Gozo, who's a really nice forward for them. He's with the U20s. And then Diego Luna. Those are the biggest names. I guess Brian Ojeda.
And Ojeda.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think Brian still doesn't know what the hell's going on either. So he was listening to our show to try and figure it out. I think we've sorted it pretty well. It's gonna be a shit show. It's gonna be a wait and see. And like I said, this might be one of the most entertaining matches of the season, just based on pure chaos. And seeing who gets minutes. Over under 5 Danny Leyva goals. That's the question, and I'm going over. He's scoring 6, and why not? So, Jeremiah, if you want to stick around, you're welcome to hang. You're a very knowledgeable individual, and we are going to talk about the U.S. call-ups for not only Christian Roldan, but also talk a little bit about RBW and Obed Vargas's U20 World Cup advancement and all that.
I am actually trying to write a Christian Roldan story, so I'm gonna.
Write your story.
But thank you for that will be up on Sounder Heart. I just put a lot of pressure on myself to actually write this story now.
Yeah.
But
sounderheart.com/LS
yeah, exactly.
For subscribe and support. Yep.
Exactly. But yeah, I was happy to jump on and try
and
to
shout out to Note Adietos.
Adietos, whatever. It's all the same. Liar, Brian. You know the name. You stay watching. Okay. He's lying.
Yeah. We're the Notes Adiotos crew, and with that,
he's lying.
Jeremiah.
Good luck like writing. That really hot girl that you don't want to. You know her name. Stop.
You're like name. Your name's like
Jessica.
Janessa.
Denise? No, it's Denise,
Denise?
man.
Listen, we are the hot girl, Niko, and I've been saying that. So
There you go.
speaking of that hot girl who, you know, you finally get out on a date with and she's really boring, the U.S. men's national team called up Christian Roldan. He's back, baby. He's gonna start in the World Cup. He's gonna start in the World Cup, dude. It's gonna happen. I have no doubt about it. I will lay my life down on that. But he gets a call up to play against where did he is? I don't remember.
Ecuador and
Ecuador.
Australia. I believe that's what it is. I know Ecuador for sure.
Yeah, Ecuador. I do know the Ecuador one. Yeah.
I am with you in the fact that, look, whether or not he starts. Look, I hit that. Australia, Ecuador, and Australia.
Let's go. This guy's
Ecuador
got
October
knowledge.
10th, Australia October 14th. Whether he starts or not, I think Christian Roldan has earned a spot in this roster. I think that he's a glue guy. I think that he is, and we got to get away from the glue thing. It's not just his intangibles, off the pitch. Is what he's been able to do on the field. He's proved it in Club World Cup. He's proved it against the best in MLS. He has a huge responsibility for one of the best teams in the West. He is as durable as they get. He's also versatile. He could play down in the midfield. He could play right back. He could play wider up top. I mean, he could do a lot of things. But I think that the reality today is that there's actually a need for a real six in this team, and a six that's willing to play ball. And by play ball, I mean do what the coach says. A lot of times it's not about the most talented guy, it's about the guy that fits the system the best. And Christian can do that. And I'm not saying that he's not talented. I'm just saying that when you look at the pool and you get all these guys talking about, the Adamses and the McKinneys, and right. I mean, I understand. I'm no fool. I get that there are levels that their guys are in, but that does not mean
always about pedigree.
It's not about the pedigree, man. It's about a guy that's gonna go in and put in the work. And you know who loves the badge, and you know who works and plays like he just is gonna die on the field is Christian Roldan, and that seems to be a Pochettino requirement. Those non-negotiables, that's a non-negotiable for Pochettino. So to me, Christian Roldan is written in Sharpie in Pochettino's notebook.
Yeah, it's funny because he has not changed his Instagram profile picture since the last World Cup. It has been him in a U.S. men's national team jersey since then.
That.
His bio says USMNT player. I mean, this guy is someone who he bleeds that. Like, that is just as much a part of him as being a Seattle Sounder is. And it hasn't changed no matter what the fans say, no matter what the turnover is. He's never involved in this drama. He's not getting his father to go on TV and yell at Pochettino. He's not doing any of that. He's there for when the call-ups come. He will call his own shot sometimes and say, I want to get called in, and I think I've been playing really well enough to get a chance. But other than that, he's just playing his ass off, and he's excited to be there. And I want to read this quote here from Tim Ream today. They did a little October camp media availability. Tim Ream on Christian Roldan, he says, and this comes via Charles Boehm, the legend, so go follow him on Blue Sky. He brings a different aura to the team. He creates a really good environment, a really welcoming environment for a lot of guys. That's the type of leader we need. One thing I'll say about Tim is he's essentially revitalized his national team career at an older age, and it provided me with a little bit more added motivation to get back here, to really believe that I could get back here. It's an example that you can not only play at a really high level, but sustain that through your career. I guess, sorry, that was Christian Roldan on Tim Ream. I apologize. Regardless, he feels like he's revitalizing his career, and I don't know how you could see it any differently. I mean, he is killing it.
Absolutely. And again, look, when he goes back to what he's done for this team, the way he works in transition moments, both offensively, defensively, the passes that he finds, the unselfishness of his play, the pressing moments, the understanding where to be, the grit, the aggressiveness. Those are things that I feel like this national team needs to get results moving forward, including in the World Cup. You just need a guy like that. And Noah, I'm getting a little notification here that my battery is about to run out and you're going to kill me. I am so sorry.
You're
But just
good.
in case, I'm letting you know right now. So
You're good.
for me, Christian Roldan is a guy that will be in the World Cup. I wouldn't be mad if he started. I know that might not be the case, but I also don't think it's crazy. I think that he's a guy that could very easily work next to a Adams or a McKinney and allow that player to be creative and get forward higher and just play for the team. So I have no problem, no issue saying that I would love Alex Roldan to start for the U.S. national team.
So let's hit quickly before your battery dies here, the U20 World Cup. You have been watching Obed Vargas. I have been kind of watching RBW. So I will let you cook on that a little bit before we head out here. Obviously, Mexico advanced out of what was considered the group of death with kind of a last minute comeback moment. Not last minute, but they qualified via their last game. How has he looked? Is this important? Is the U20 World Cup even important? And do you think they have a chance of winning it all?
Look, I think they look great. They're playing host Chile. As you know, in World Cups, the host, it's a big deal. They play to a certain level. This Chile team is actually pretty good. I mean, they've had some inconsistencies, but I would say that they match up pretty well against Mexico. I think it's anybody's game. Can Mexico win it all? Look, they came out of a huge group. I thought that they looked good against Spain. Spain was arguably one of the favorites, despite their poor performance in the World Cup. So, yeah, I mean, I think Mexico could definitely, I don't know if win it all, but they could definitely make a run. They could definitely beat Chile, in my opinion, and then we'll see who they get after that. Obed Vargas has had ups and downs. I thought that his first game against Spain was very good. That's probably no, not Spain. His first game against Brazil was very good. That's probably his best game that I've seen him play. I thought it was very complete. I thought he connected a lot of passes. I thought that he was involved defensively. He was very good. I think against Spain, he wasn't as good. He came off in about the 57, 58 minute. There was a lot of lack of communication in that midfield. And I think that this Mexico team plays a lot for Gilberto Mora.
Yeah,
and
it seems like that.
There is just a lot of what they do that really sacrifices other players. And I think that Obed's been one of those guys that he gets into the right spots. He's defending. He's doing a whole lot of other things when Gilberto is really just being that creative midfielder. And now it's worked clearly because he is that 10 that they're molding him to be. And it's worked pretty well. But in terms of Obed Vargas, I think it's been difficult because you haven't played to his skill set, and I think that's good for him in terms of experience, in terms of understanding other systems. What does that do for his confidence? I'd be interested to see when he comes back. But I thought against Morocco, he played 90. He had a solid game. Not as involved and not as influential as he clearly is here for the Sounders. Again, goes back to the system. But I'd like to see that of Obed. Has he been lights out? Absolutely not. But to me, it is the high floor and being a player that can be consistent with his own delivery of his performances. So if I'm a guy watching from Bruges FC or from PSV, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Obed Vargas. Hasn't been brilliant, but with a team and a group that he doesn't really know, which has to be considered. He's got to be in the context. I thought that he's looked the part, not to mention the fact that he has been one of the most physical guys on that squad. He's the guy that you could clearly tell that plays at a different level, at a different speed. But just there's been moments that he technically, you could tell that there isn't that connectivity. There isn't that sync play like he has here with the Sounders.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens, obviously, against Chile. This is important for his national team stock, undoubtedly. Mm-hmm. He needs to look good. He needs to play his part. He needs to contribute. I think that's what he's doing. These are challenging matches with groups of players that are all talented on their own, but are playing at different levels and frankly don't have a lot of chemistry together. I think probably him and Gilberto Mora have played probably the most minutes against each other and like around in the same space. So that's not a bad thing because, you know, Gilberto Mora and him are players who might be dark horses for a World Cup call-up. Hopefully. That's what I'm hoping because I like both of those players
absolutely.
a lot.
I think Gilberto Mora a little more. You could hear in the media. I could already see it. I mean, I've been listening to the narrative. Everybody wants Gilberto to win. And as much as I think that puts Obed a little bit on the outside looking in, because Aguirre is a guy that does want his older guys. He's going to want Lira in. He's going to want Alvarez. He's going to want Charlie. Maybe if there's an injury, maybe if Obed can really put it together against Mexico and just have a baller of a game, you know, maybe he puts his name in there for sure.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, Chile, Mexico tomorrow. And then they will play the winner of Argentina, Nigeria, which famously, Argentina, pretty good at developing young players, pretty good at their U20 team is usually pretty damn talented. So the path does not get any easier for them. Jumping into the United States, though, Reed Baker-Whiting played like 8 minutes in the 3-0 win against France. Where he was on the field for all 3 goals. They scored 3 goals, the 85th, 88th, and 90+2. So was it because he was on the field adding the juice? Maybe, but I think he had like 3 he completed 3 passes. He was 100% on his passing. He did his job. Nothing remarkable, I would say. And then their last match of the group stage was against South Africa, the U20s. That was a little bit of a fumble by the U.S. They lost 2-1 on an own goal from Joshua Winder, who is a player who plays with Benfica on their second team.
Good player.
He's a great player. Great player, but you know, CBs make errors. It happens. Own goal there, but he played 90 minutes in that match and 82% completed passing. You know, I don't think it was anything to write home about. He wasn't a game changer, but sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to just like play your 90 and look solid. But the U.S. will face Italy on the 9th, so we'll see how that shakes out. And then if they advance, they'll either play Morocco or South Korea. I think they maybe have a little easier path than Mexico, if I'm being honest. Yep. But who knows? We'll see. The U20 World Cup rages on. And if either of them get knocked out, it's good for the Sounders. Let's be real. It's much better for the Sounders.
They cannot come home soon enough.
Yeah. The latest that they would be home or be done is the October 19th. That's when the final is. So who knows what's going to happen? Who knows how long RBW and Obed will be gone? But yeah, we made it through. No dead camera, no dead anything. I really appreciate you doing a kickoff with me, Niko. This was fun. I felt like maybe we should just replace Ari, honestly, you know.
Hey man, I've been dying to get on the field with you, man. So I'm glad that we were able to, you know, chop it up, go 1-2. We even brought Jeremiah in there to, you know, make it a back line of 3 and everything. He's been good, man. So I appreciate you making the time. And there it is.
Oh, there it is. Uh-oh. He's dead, but that's okay. Chat, go ahead and make sure you follow Niko Moreno on all social platforms. Of course, that is at El Rolo NW. You can also check him out on YouTube at Pulso Sports, Sounder at Heart, and of course, Lobbing Scorchers. Chat, I love you all. Please like the video. It is the best way to bump this bad boy up in the algorithm. We will be back for a podcast on Wednesday afternoon, so that may get posted Thursday or Tuesday or something like that. But new podcast coming once Ari is back in town. And then, of course, Thursday night, you will have your regularly scheduled Under the Lights Saturday. We will get our reaction show live from Lumen Field. And that's that. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And I will see you all so soon. Please subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and buy our hot sauce. LobbingScorchers.com/sauce. Peace out, everyone. See y'all later. Have a good Tuesday. Some people come to Lumen Field for the tactics, for the soccer, the atmosphere. And some come for Paul Rothrock's hair. Me personally, I come for both, because I have agendas to push. Live soccer isn't just better, it's way more personal. From making friends to becoming the guy in your section that's just constantly yelling about advanced statistics. Get tickets to any Sounders match by visiting LobbingScorchers.com/tickets. You support the pod, our agendas, the vibes, and the chaos.